console and EC2 machine we have created. Again, later on time, I will share you the steps, and also I will discuss um, just 1 minute. Yeah, later on time again, I will tell you how to subscribe to this AWS and how to create a free account, and how to create an account and then log in this AWS management console. So these details I will explain later in time, meaning once we have going forward, then I will explain. But for now, I was taken directly yesterday the mission in this AWS management console. So yesterday I created an EC2 Elastic Compute Cloud Machine, right, with the distribution called Ubuntu, correct? So today, now I'll explain how we can connect to the machine that we have created yesterday. So as we have seen, we have created the machine with the Ubuntu as the distribution. This AWS created the machine by installing the Ubuntu as a distribution in this machine, readily available. We have not done anything. Everything is given by the AWS guys only. Just we were chosen, I want this machine. This is the machine memory, like 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM, and then what operating system we want, that operating system distribution. So these are all the things we have given, and with those details what we have given, they created a instance to us. They were created a instance to us. So later on time, I will explain, meaning I will share the documents also to you. Plus, I will also explain like how to connect to this machine. So free tier, there is a document I already have prepared. Once again, I will explain in the session, probably coming up session, how to create the free tier account creation, meaning how you can subscribe to the AWS management console and how you can create your own account. I will explain going forward. So yesterday, did you remember, as part of the mission creation, we even have chosen the key pair, correct? Yesterday, I created one key pair, public key and then private key. So I explained public key is with the AWS and private key is what we have downloaded, that is .pem file we have downloaded yesterday, isn't it? Now using this private key, whatever we have downloaded, so we will be able to connect to our machine, whatever we have created. So let us see now how to connect to the machine. So this is the Linux practice mission 7 p.m. is what we have created yesterday. So I am starting the mission. We know this machine is with the Ubuntu distribution. So let me start this mission. So once we started this machine, to connect to this machine, right, there were various ways. And let me also check yesterday's downloads folder. So this is Linux 7 p.m. Private key.pem is what I have downloaded. So just let me also keep this as part of the notes and all. Just in a moment. DevOps EC2 key pairs. So here, let me keep this EC2 key pair. Yesterday, we have downloaded this. Now, with this key pair, we need to connect to the machine. See this, the machine is now started. So when we started the machine, by just going to this and then selecting the start instance, we got the public IP address assigned to it. And also when the machine is created, a private IP address is assigned. So this private IP address is fixed. Once this assigned, today I will stop the mission and tomorrow I will start the mission. The same private IP address we will get. Private IP address is fixed, it never changed. But this private IP, public IP address will change every time. For example, today you stop it and tomorrow you start again, you will get one more public IP address. And tomorrow you stop, again day after tomorrow you start your mission. Again, you will get one more public IP address. So likewise, the public IP address we will get every time. So we have to connect to this machine using this public IP address only. So this public IP address is connectable from anyone's machine, from my machine, from your machine, from anyone's machine. We will be able to, from anyone's machine in the sense, from anyone's laptop, we will be able to connect to this machine on this public IP address, right? Private IP address meaning this address we can't access, meaning the machine which have this public can access this machine. Perfect. Now, how many ways we can access this machine? Do we need to use any tools to access this machine? Basically, how to access this machine is what we will see now. So yesterday,
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Sir, what is the use of that private IP address that the machine has got?
okay, so this private IP address will be used to communicate from one mission to another mission. So meaning, for example, I was connected to this mission, and from this mission to this 8 p.m. mission, just in case, if you would like to connect or if you would like to transfer any files or if you would like to get any files from other machines, then the mission to mission communication will be happen using this private IP address. But to connect to these machines from our laptops, your laptops, your machines, then we have to use this public IP address. Got it, na? Difference?
Yeah, and sir, one more question. Sir, many times people ask us what is the difference between public IP and private IP. So can you please in brief, could you tell us what is the difference between those two IP addresses?
So basically, when we will create the machines, not only this, but when we create our own machines as well, our AWS machines as well, there is a concept called virtual private cloud, VPCs. So probably at this moment, the topic is a little complex topic, maybe a diverted topic, but as answer for your question is, so when we have created any machine, the machine will be created in a virtual private cloud. So in that virtual private cloud, within the range of 2 to the power of 16, two IP addresses will be assigned. A network will be created. So that assign the IP addresses. So one of such IP addresses which never change is the private IP address. Okay, but public IP address is what? Every time it will be generated, so that using this we will be accessed. Meaning with this public IP address, there is a internet gateway component in this AWS. That internet gateway component will be allowed or enabled on this public IP address. However, detailed of it, because there is a new words I am using, internet gateway I am using, CIDR I am using, 2 to the power of 16 IP addresses range I am using, right? So these words maybe at this moment you may not understand, folks, but later on time we will discuss about this networking and all. Okay, maybe this is not the right time to discuss about that differences. Okay, fine.
Sir, this private IP is same for every time for me.
Yes, private IP.
Create the account on the Amazon. So for when we reach that website, so every time that the private IP is same for me, or it will change up?
Private IP will be same per one machine. Per one machine.
Okay.
for one machine. So tomorrow we create one more machine. That machine also will be come up with one more private IP, which is fixed for that machine.
Okay. So this IP static IP for us.
Basically, the word static IP is different in AWS because static IP meaning that will be the IP we have to create explicitly, which never changes, and that static IP will be public IP always, not private IP. Static IP is a different basically, but we can say this as a fixed IP address. Fixed IP address.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine, folks. So now, as we have created the machine, let us try to connect to this machine. First, to connect to this machine, we need to understand the concept called this key pairs. Right? Yesterday, I already have explained, but one more time, let me explain, please, with this key pair, how it will work. So if you can see, there are two key pair meaning two, right? So there is a key pair will be created when we will create a machine in the AWS. So that key pair is public key and then private key. So this public key and then private key are signed with a one signature algorithm like RSA, public algorithm, or there were different algorithms basically. So this public key and then private key are signed with a digital signature, right? So that is the RSA algorithm or any other algorithms. Now, in order to connect to the machines, listen please carefully, very, very important. So this private key we always will download, right? That is nothing but this PEM file. That private key we will always download. That is nothing but the PEM key, right? PEM key. And this PEM key will be converted to the PPK key, putty private key, using this puttygen command. Puttygen command. Sir, what is puttygen? Why puttygen came into the picture? I will explain. Just please give me one moment of time. Here, if you can see, whatever the private key we have downloaded, that private key can be converted to PPK key using the puttygen. What is puttygen? I'll explain in a moment of time. Okay, then using this PPK or using this PEM file, right? We can, so here is the AWS machine locked with this public key. Now what we need to do, we need to submit the private key so that the lock will be opened for us, meaning the machine will be accessed for us. So with this understanding, what you can understand now, the AWS machine will be locked with the public key, and for this public key, a private key already generated, which we were already downloaded, right? So using that private key only, we can unlock the machine, right? Because the public key need to be first understand by the private key needs to be understand by the public key. Both will be handshake together. Then the machine will be unlocked for us, meaning machine will be accessed for us. So this is called the key pair. This is called the key pair. So always when we will create the AWS machine, just let me create one more time, or else we can directly go to key pair. So just let me type key pair. Just let me go to key pair. Okay, otherwise what we can do, just let me directly go to one more, which is key pairs. So just click on this key pairs. Just would like to show. So create key pair. Now see this. Enter the name for the key pair. So the name can include up to 255 ASCII characters, meaning numbers, words, text, all will be. It can't include leading or trailing spaces. Any spaces should not be allowed. And here see key pair type, either RSA or ED25519. So there are two types of key pairs we have. So one is the one key pair with the RSA algorithm, and second key pair with the ED25519. If you can see here, Amazon EC2 supports ED25519 and RSA key pair types. So there is a limitation with this ED25519. What is that? You can use ED25519 keys with the Linux and Mac instances only. But using our AWS, we also can create the Windows machines as well, right? So we can create the Windows machines as well, like Windows Server. Yesterday, how we were created the Linux machine, right? By just choosing the operating system distribution as Ubuntu. Similarly, we also can create a Windows Server machine, like how your Windows operating system laptops will be. Similar kind of machines we can create using this AWS as well. So in such case, this ED25519 won't support. So this supports only Linux and then Mac instances that we're going to create. But this RSA will be support for anything. So that is the reason we always will choose the RSA key pair type. Sir, what is RSA? RSA is a public RSA is a public key algorithm. RSA is a public key algorithm. Now here two types of private key formats we have, .pem and then .ppk. This is what here we discussed about. So .pem and then .ppk. Two types of private key files for us. .pem and then .ppk. Carefully listen. .pem for use with the open SSH. .ppk for use with the PuTTY. Meaning we can connect to our machines we created in this AWS. We can connect to the machines we created in AWS using a tool called PuTTY. A tool called PuTTY, or some people will call it as PuTTY or PuTTY, whatever it is. So using this PuTTY, we can connect to these machines, whatever we now created, right? So to that machine, we can connect using PuTTY. PuTTY is one tool. Similarly to the PuTTY, there is another tool also called WinSCP, and there another tool also called FileZilla, and another tool also called MOBA Extern. So among all these tools I just have mentioned, MOBA Extern will be a beautiful tool which is having a nice graphical user interface, and you can see your machine graphically. Using the graphical user interface, you can see your machine details, meaning machine directories, you can see using the MOBA Extern. So I personally suggest folks to term only, not with the and all, because there are questions in each and every tool I will explain, so which will be easily solving by this MOBA Extern tool. I'll explain me open write these things. Fine. So what I said is the E2 mission, the EC2.
Sorry, sir, to interrupt you. Your voice is breaking in between, sir. So we are unable to get you exactly.
Is it one? How about now?
No,
Still,
now also it's breaking, sir.
it's breaking. Just a moment.
Yeah, sure.
Still breaking?
No,
Still
sir.
breaking?
If
Yeah.
it breaks, we'll let you know.
Okay, fine. Yeah, okay, fine. Thank you so much for letting me know. Yeah, thank you so much for letting me know. So the EC2 machine we created accessible from the below, not from the using the below tools. So one tool is what? Putty. And next tool is what? WinSCP. And I can write it something like this. WinSCP or FileZilla. And the next tool is called MOBA Extern. Next tool is called MOBA Extern. Still voice is breaking. Can I drop off and then come back in a moment of time if my voice is still breaking?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Yeah, can anyone please take the host? Let me give the host access. To whom I can give the host access? Yeah. Hey, so, thanks, Narendra Babu. I will give you the now. Let me go and then connect to our AWS console one more time. So the mission we started will still be in the running state, though I have restarted my mission because we have created the mission in the cloud, isn't it? So whatever we started, it will be as it is running in the cloud. So however, let me just go into that and then can see the mission. So EC2 instances. Now go here. So you can see now one instance is in still running state because I was restarted, but the mission started in the cloud. So the same public IP address, the same private IP address will be there because I was not restarted the mission, isn't it? I was not restarted the AWS mission we created. Rather, I just was restarted my mission. However, now we are discussing about the concept called how to connect to the mission that we were created. So we were created the mission with the Linux Ubuntu distribution. So to connect to that EC2 mission, we have the three tools: Putty, WinSCP or FileZilla, Mobile Extern. There were maybe other tools as well, but these three tools are most famous, most commonly used tools. So what is the difference between these three tools? Putty is a command line. Putty is a command line tool. Putty is a command line tool. So Putty is a command line tool, which is used to connect to the machine. But if we use this command line tool, it will be like blank command prompt. So you cannot see any directories and all, and maybe with this one, file transferring is little difficult. So a command line tool which is used to Putty is a command line tool which is used to connect to the machine. But if we want to copy a file from our laptop, our machine to if you want to copy the machine from our machine to the AWS EC2 Linux machine, right? So it will be difficult, right? It will be difficult. And this is the reason we will use this WinSCP or FileZilla. So WinSCP or FileZilla will works along with the Putty. So with this Putty, along with this Putty, WinSCP and FileZilla both will be work along with this Putty and useful. There is a drawback in the Putty, right? So that drawback will be covered by these two and useful for file transferring. But we still not be able, but we just will be use it as a file transferring tool, and also we can see the directories and all, but still not able to perform few of the still not able to perform the few of the operations, like syncing of the machines. Maybe I'm using little bigger word now. Syncing of the machines, meaning the directory system of my local machine we cannot sync with the EC2 machines. So I just write still here only. So WinACP or FileZilla will works along with the PuTTY and useful for trial file transferring. Then this tool is different, completely different tool, and completely different tool. And this tool will be very helpful and very rich in the graphical user interface. So a very rich graphical user interface tool to connect with the Linux machines, and also to graphically graphically view the Linux machine files and directories, and also we can copy the files very easily and fastly from our local computer to the Linux. Maybe whatever I am writing, maybe you may not understand now, but once I will download this tool and then connect, then you will easily understand. Okay, so WinACP or FileZilla, PuTTY, and then MobaXter. These are all the three possible tools that we can use to connect to our machine. So I will suggest to download this MobaXterm tool. So how to download this MobaXterm tool? Go here, just type MobaXterm download. Then you will be get with this site MobaXterm. Just click on it. So once you click on it, you will see two versions. One is the home edition and second one is the enterprise, meaning professional edition. So professional edition is a commercial. Let's not go with that one. Let us go with this free edition. So let us go and then click on this download. So once you click on download, you will be get two options. One is the portable edition, second one is the installer edition. So click on the installer edition. So once you click on the installer edition, then you will be download, meaning the MobaXterm will be downloaded to you like this. Like this, the MobaXterm will be downloaded to you. When you extract this MobaXterm folder, it will be open like this. Then here you can see the MobaXterm installer. So just right click on it and then install. You no need to do anything. Just in a moment of time, when you right click on it and then install, it will be installed. Just to choose the installation directory, that's it. You don't need to do anything. And once it installed, type MobaXterm, then MobaXterm will be come to you like this. So just click on this open. Click on this open. Now MobaXterm will be open. So MobaXterm will be open. Right? So this is now open. This is the MobaXterm. Now in this MobaXterm, if we can see, start local terminal. So just click on this start local terminal. This is a local terminal. Here I would like to explain you few things. This is the local terminal, right? So this local terminal will understand the Linux commands. I repeat one more time. When you install the MobaXterm, then in the MobaXterm, you can start the local terminal. Just let me click on this. You can start the local terminal, or you can connect it to the remote machines. Both you can do. You can connect it to the remote machines, or you can connect to this your local terminal, meaning local command prompt. But the beauty of this mobile extern is it will understand the Linux commands. It will understand the Linux command. See, when I am giving the Linux commands, it is understanding, right? For example, let me give this one. It understood. So how this mobile extern is understanding, where this kind of facility is not there in your putty or WinSCP. They are purely command line utilities for connected to the machines. And then once you connect it to the machines inside the Linux machine only, you will execute the Linux commands. But here we have not connected to the Linux machine yet, but still I was able to execute the Linux commands in my Windows machine. That is what you need to observe. In my Windows machine also, I can practice my Linux without creating any Linux server like how we were created now with this MOBA extern. Why? Because MOBA extern is coming up with a lightweight Linux kernel called WSL2. So MOBA extern is coming up with a lightweight Linux distribution, not kernel. I'm so sorry. So lightweight Linux distribution, or we can say it as a Linux driver also. Driver called WSL2, meaning Windows subsystem for Linux 2. So this is a driver which we usually, guys, can you please mute? Yeah, so this is the driver which we will usually use to connect to the, this is a driver which we usually installed on the Windows machine. So this is the driver which we usually install in our Windows machine to get the Linux operating system and then the Linux distributions or the Linux environment. In your Windows machine, you can create the Linux environment. In your Windows machine, you can create the Linux environment using this lightweight driver called WSL2, Windows Subsystem for Linux 2. So this Windows Subsystem for Linux 2 is useful for what? In your Windows machine, you also can create a lightweight Linux environment. So for that, we will use this driver. So MOBA extern is the tool which is coming up with this WSL2. And hence, we also can execute the Linux commands. We also can learn the Linux using this MOBA extern local terminal as well. Got it? That is the beauty of the MOBA extern, which was not there in the other tools. Next, we also can connect to the remote machines. So how to will connect to the remote machines? Remote machines meaning our machines, just like we created the machine in our AWS. So click on this session and click on this SSH. Sir, what is SSH? SSH meaning secure shell session. SSH meaning secure shell. SSH meaning secure shell basically. So secure shell SSH session we can open by clicking on it. Secure session, the name itself is telling it is a secure session. Secure session to what? It is creating one session meaning one active window. For example, I'm just opening a command prompt. So this is one active session we could say. So this is one active session. I can do anything and then I can exit from this session. Gone. So likewise, this MOBA extern also will create a secure shell to our remote host machine, which we were created in our AWS. So go here, copy the public IP address, which we got as soon as we start the machine we created. Copy this public IP address and then go to our MOBA external and give in this remote host. Okay. Number two is what? Specify the username. As we were chosen the operating system distribution type is Ubuntu. So each and every operating system will come up with one user. Each and every operating system, that means the Linux distribution I'm talking about, like Ubuntu, CentOS, RHEL, SUSE, OpenSUSE, meaning SUSE. So these are all the distributions by default coming up with one user. By default coming up with one user. So as we have chosen the Ubuntu distribution, then the default user for the Ubuntu distribution is Ubuntu. And number three, the port number. Did you remember when we were created the machine yesterday? While creating the machine, we were created one security group, right? Hopefully you were remembered. So let me also quickly remember to you. Just by clicking this Ubuntu, I will take you to that place, not this one. So configure instance details, add storage, add tags, add, here it is. Here you can see there is a port range, there is a protocol, and there is a type. That means what? If the connection to this machine, whatever we created, the connection type is secure shell, then the only port number that we have to use is the 22, the default port number for the SSH connection, secure shell connection. So that is the reason we have to give the default port number here as 22, which is the secure shell connection port number to our machine. And our machine is locked, right? Locked with the key pair. Public key pair plus private key pair, both were created. So it is locked with the public key pair. To unlock that public key, we have to submit our private key. So just let me go to this PC and go here, and just let me go to the place where I have copied this key pair. See this one, Linux 7 PM private key. Just let me click on open. Now see, to connect to this machine, we have given our private key. And our private key is what? .pem file we have given. And in the bookmark settings, let me give the name for this machine, Linux 7 PM, Linux 7 PM machine. Just click on OK. Now see, I will be able to connect to that machine. Perfect. I was connected. I'm able to connect to this machine. Correct? I'm able to connect to this machine. That means from my local laptop, from my local computer, I am now able to access the machine created in this AWS cloud, right? And how I was unlocked the machine? Because this machine is locked with the key pair, isn't it? Public key plus private key, both were created, and private key we downloaded, public key is at this machine site. So by submitting the private key that we have downloaded, we were now able to connect to this machine.
Sir, we have used, hello sir. Sir, we have used .pem na? And sir, when we have to use that .ppk extension file?
Correct. So when we use putty or WinSCP to connect to this machine, then we have to use the .ppk file. For example, I also have WinSCP. It seems to be, yes, I also have the WinSCP. Now, just I'm not telling you how to create this WinSCP and all, because I'm not suggesting you guys to go with this one. For example, I want to connect to the same machine using this WinSCP. So what I can do now, I can go here, copy the public IP address, give the public IP address here, and rather than going with this username and password, let me just choose this advanced option, SSH key exchange, sorry, SSH, then authentication. Then here we have to give our PEM file. Now what will happen when we give the PEM file? This PEM file will be converted to PPK file, putty private key file. Just let me go here and EC2 key pairs. Just let me give all files and 7 p.m. PEM file. Now what will happen? See, immediately, do you want to convert this open SSH private key to putty format? Then if yes, then there will be a PPK file will be created. Perfect. Now see, in the same region, I'm just trying to save PPK in the same folder. PPK file is now created. Now yes, PPK is created. Now with that, guys, can you please mute? Can you please mute? With that PPK, now we will be able to log into the machine. Done. So now username is asking. Username is Ubuntu. Done. We are now able to connect to it. So we were now connected, right? So PPK will be used when we use the WinCP or FileZilla or Putty to connect to our Linux machines. But when we use the PEM file, then PEM file we have to use to connect to our Linux machine. Guys, can you please mute? Can you please mute? Thanks. So the PEM file that we have to use to connect to our Linux machines from the mobile external when we are connecting from the mobile external. So the difference that I would like to tell you is, meaning probably now you got the basic idea when to use putty PPK file and when to use this PEM file, .pem file. So PPK we have to use when we will connect it to the Linux machine using the putty or WinCP or putty based tools like WinCP FileZilla. But the PEM file we have to use to connect it to our machine when we are using a tool called mobile external. What is the difference? What is the difference? So just let me go to one more time to our AWS machine. So there I have created one document, tools used for accessing the cloud. So the PEM file we have to use to connect to the Linux machine from one more Linux machine. Don't confuse, please. I repeat one more time. We can use the PEM file, .pem file we can use. So .pem format file we can use to connect to the Linux machine from another Linux machine. Hence, when we connect to the remote Linux machine from mobile external, we have to use .pem file, isn't it? Got it? Why? You got the point? When to use the PEM file? So to the remote Linux machine, when we are connecting from another Linux machine. So Linux machine to Linux machine communication, when we do, then we have to use this PEM file. Now you got a question. Sir, you are using mobile external in your Windows machine, but in the mobile external you used PEM file. How it will be? You have to answer now. You got my question? How I am able to connect to the Linux machine using the PEM file from mobile external is what my question. Anyone know the answer? Because
mobile external is also a Linux distribution.
Exactly. Mobile external is also a lightweight Linux distribution driver or lightweight Linux distribution contained inside the mobile external. So mobile external is also a lightweight Linux environment, and that is the reason from the Linux environment to connect it to any other Linux machine, we have to use the .pem file. And when we have to use the .ppk or .ppk file, then when we are connecting from our Windows machine to the Linux service, Linux server. So when we connect from our Windows machine to the Linux server, then we have to use the PPK or putty private key, because the medium between the Windows machine and then the Linux server is called this putty tool. So from Windows machine to connect to the Linux server, we have to use a tool called putty. And if we use the putty, then we have to use the putty private key, nothing but PPK, right? But in the other case, when we are using, so if the cloud host machine is the Linux GUI server and the client to connect to is Windows or Linux client, then we can use the protocol VNC to connect to it. There are various protocols to connect to our Linux machine like SSH, putty, RDP, VNC, and web browser. So these are all the ways that we can use to connect to the machines. Connected to the machines. Case 1, if the cloud have the Linux server CLI, like what we have taken our Linux server, right? So that is a CLI, command line tool. About it, I will discuss tomorrow very in depth, like what is the meaning of this command line, what is this command line, what is the meaning of it, what is command line. All these things I will explain tomorrow. But the machine that we have created in AWS is a command line server, CLI server. If that is the case, then to connect to it from the Linux server, from the Windows machine, we have to use the PPK. And if we would like to connect to this Linux server CLI from the Linux client, then we have to use the SSH. So our case is the first case. So that is the reason I was used the .pem file. .pem file. So there were other cases also. These we will discuss maybe later on time. Now we have connected to this machine, right? As soon as we connected, we were land on the Ubuntu @IP address, and then this tilde operator, and then this $. There is a lot of meaning for this command. And as soon as we logged in, if I type print my current working directory, we were land on the /home/Ubuntu directory. So about this command line, and then about these directories, about the commands one after the other, let us start tomorrow. So tomorrow, let us start learning our Linux commands using the command line utility. Okay, so that's all for today, folks. Any questions for me?
Hi, sir.
Hi.
I wanted to ask, where can we find the recordings of these lectures exactly?
Okay, so the recordings of these lectures will be shared to you to your drive actually. So while registering, you might have given your email address. For example, there are two cases. You might paid or you might not paid. If you are not paid, then the demo session links will be given to your email ID. So these all 5 or 4 demos we have done, right? So these 4-5 demos will be uploaded in the YouTube. The links will be given to your email ID. This is if you are not registered. And if you are registered, then to your email, maybe to your Gmail drive, directly these recordings will be uploaded. Got it?
Okay.
Yeah. So anything else, folks? And all these notes I will hand over once after you have, meaning once after I got the all registered users list, then for them I will upload all these notes and all these details. Okay. Any questions for me if you have any? Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Sir, we have registered, but still we not get the link.
So however, we gonna change our link tomorrow, right? Tomorrow is the last demo. So we gonna change our link by the Monday, meaning on Monday we will connect with the new link. So Saturday I will get a list actually who are all completed. Saturday end of the day I will get the list of the students. So for them I will provision all these materials by Saturday or maybe Sunday, so that from the Monday onwards you will get access to all these class notes. Okay. Yeah. Okay, folks. Thank you so much for your time and see you tomorrow.